Welcome to the GK Big Tech Earnings Show. I'm Ross Gerber. I'll be your host today as we enjoy this panoply of earnings that are coming out. All the big tech stocks. We own stock in pretty much all these companies other than Facebook. And so we figured today we would do this in real time. We'll look at earnings. We're going to look at what happens to these companies after hours, and then we're going to get some analysis. I'm here today with some very, very special guests. Here to my right, I have Brett Sifling, probably the youngest stock trading prodigy that I've ever met. Literally the heir to the GK stock trading throne. And then we also have Eyal Shmilovich, who is also a new homeowner and also one of the head of our GK Tech group. He has great insights into different technology, and we work with lots of clients also at these firms. So we're waiting now for earnings. And so what's going to happen is we're going to wait to get earnings, and Brett and we're going to kind of do this in real time. Eyal will kind of shout it out, and then we'll let you know what's happening with the stocks in real time, and then what we think about the analysis. So, I'm pretty optimistic actually about tech earnings because I think many of these dominant tech companies are just in a great position because of the pandemic, actually. And if you think about the digital economy, it's really booming right now relative to the physical economy. And you really can see that, really just going next door to Activision, which is next door to us. And then Snapchat is also next door to us. So if you walk down the street here in Santa Monica, there is nobody in the buildings, and Snapchat and Activision are still open for business. They're just working from home. So these are companies that have been able to adapt to the pandemic, continue to operate normally, but more importantly, they've been able to gain users and subscribers and views because we've all been stuck watching way too many screens. And so it's really a great opportunity for Apple. We'll be talking about Apple. Apple usually reports late, like 1:30ish, so it'll be later in the show today. But Apple, I actually think will blow out their numbers because I think a lot of people bought new laptops and iPads and such. So I think we're going to see good numbers from Google. Would be the only one I would think we'll miss because I think ad rev is down at Google.
Yeah. It'll also be interesting to see the supply chain, if they have any issues at Apple, just from shipping everything everywhere.
Right. I don't see that as being their biggest challenge. I think the biggest challenge for Apple is the fact that the retail stores have been closed. And I'm not really sure how much they sell through the stores, but it's a big support for the Apple ecosystem. But I know from my own behavior, I ended up buying a new phone.
Yeah, I
bought a new laptop. I was literally looking at an iPad last night, and I didn't buy it because my kids have taken my iPads, but I didn't buy it because I think they might be coming out with a lot of new stuff in September. Yeah. So I've read that. So Eyal, you got anything on the earnings coming out?
Nothing yet. But I am curious about Google specifically.
Do we hear him?
He's talking out the video.
Can you hear me?
Can you put it on so we can hear
him? And it looks like EA just came out too.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
We don't hear Eyal, so that's a problem.
I'm here.
We'll get that fixed in a second here. So EA just came out?
Yeah, EA just came out. 400% increase in earnings.
Wow.
From this same last
nice,
time.
Nice. What did they?
Same quarter last year.
What's rev?
1.46 billion in Q1 revenue.
Versus
netted a $365 million profit off of that.
That sounds decent.
So it's pretty good.
And it's not like the Christmas quarter, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty much unchanged. After hours had a little dip, so people are still digesting this for now.
What anything seem interesting about EA we want to talk about? We own EA. We like EA. And just as a disclaimer, we own all the stocks that we're probably going to end up talking about today. There's risk investing in the stock market. You should consult an investment advisor. We don't know if these stocks are suitable for your situation. So please be there we go, Eyal. You there, Eyal?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here now. Yeah. So I just heard you guys talking about EA. Nothing major, but Brett and Ross, you guys are gamers. You tell me, what do you guys think?
I think I'm playing Activision games all the time. I'm on Call of Duty, so I do think EA has a lot of great games, and they're in a good shape. But I mean, boy, it's kind of hard not to play Call of Duty when you log on.
Yeah, and they said they added tens of millions of players just during this quarter, and they're really focusing on their live. And so, EA is known for their sports games.
What games did particularly well this quarter?
Didn't actually say that yet.
Yeah, we got into it yet.
Yeah.
But you could assume that, what's interesting with them is you can, they're going to probably push to maybe even have a higher dollar amount per game that they sell, right?
Well, that's the whole Take-Two thing, raise the price to 70 now.
Exactly, raise to 70.
I mean, it's risk reward. You lose a few people, and
I don't think it's going to lose anyone. I mean, when you think about these people, they're not buying tons of games anymore. You really just buy 3 or 4 that you continually love.
And they're updating content on those games, so it's not like it's just like you get a static game and that's it.
Yeah.
Like Battlefield's a perfect example where when I originally got Battlefield, okay, that was one game, but they've upgraded the game several times, and it's like getting a new game. So I certainly think that there's value to charging more.
It might be a little bit more challenging for EA specifically, though, because a lot of their titles are like NBA 2K, and then just the next year.
No, that's big too.
Next year, and so
I mean, I think you get those people who love those games who play it every year, but it is repetitive.
I think it'll be interesting because are people so starved for sports that they'll upgrade to the new game just because they want to see it?
I'm in that camp. I would. If you can't play football, why not play it online? So that's kind of my camp of things. So I like those sports games personally. I mean, I play NBA 2K is what I play.
They had actually 30 new content updates just in this quarter. They had 2 major game expansions and more than 40 of their mobile updates. So they launched nearly 30 titles on the stream platform.
I got EA up $1 after hours. So Amazon must have reported. I see Amazon up 100.
Facebook has also reported.
Who reported?
Facebook also reported.
So we got Facebook, and did Amazon report?
Let's check Amazon here.
Did.
Yeah.
UPS 1030 up from 522 year over year. Sales were 88.91 billion versus the 81 billion estimate.
Yeah, that's
wow.
That's honestly
so that's like 50% of the U.S. economy. Is that all through Amazon? Dude, that is huge.
Yeah. Did they say
$1 billion in a quarter?
Right. Did they say the earnings serious?
$10.30.
$10. Wow. Earnings up 100%.
Honestly, what company is better suited for the pandemic? Maybe
Amazon.
Netflix is the only other one.
Yeah, but see, my concern with Amazon was that they were going to get whacked with costs from delivery.
Yeah, that's why.
One thing that they did was they stopped doing their one-day delivery in a lot of the geographical locations just to kind of.
Well, they kind of used that whole excuse, like, because of the pandemic, we have to prioritize. But what they really did was get rid of one-day shipping.
So I cover the Amazon earnings when we do our meetings, Ross, as you know, every quarter. And I know that they front loaded a lot of those fees that they paid, basically the costs up front for the last quarter. So they reported a lot of it. They kind of put it all out there. And I think now that they're sort of they're riding high.
I got it up 130 after hours. So the parade continues. I'm happy to have Amazon in our top.
31.83.
I got EA up $1.
Yeah.
I got Google now up 23. Did they report? What did Facebook do?
Facebook had it says 11% revenue jump.
It's also up 5% after hours.
Everything is up. I mean, it says revenue growth, even though there was a slowdown, revenue growth is still up. They crushed on earnings, $1.80 versus $1.39.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, revenue beat big.
So they were not hurt from the ad rev side.
I mean, that's curious, honestly. Like these guys, we thought Facebook was really kind of a one-trick pony, so they might be hurting in this.
That's got to be all Instagram, dude. It's just Instagram's like a monster for them.
People print money on Instagram.
Yeah, my wife is printing money on Instagram, actually. Wildling.com, by the way, wildlingbeauty.com.
Yeah, you guys should follow us on Instagram too. We're putting out great content, especially from a lot of our younger advisors, basically on our Gerber Kawasaki Instagram.
Yeah. By the way, you can follow us on YouTube and Instagram. And our Instagram's been great because we have all our young advisors putting out content on our Instagram channel. And I like it.
It's stuff that actually helps you too, right? Like if you're looking to save for a home down payment, we have steps to get there, and you can sit down with us for an hour and go over your financial plan and go over your situation pretty comprehensively and put those goals together. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, boy, if you don't own these stocks, you really should be meeting with us, huh? 'Cause,
Man.
yeah.
Well, I looked at the
They even got Apple up $4 just because of Amazon.
I think they're all up just because Google hasn't. I don't see anything on Google yet, but they're up about 1%, just kind of open.
Yeah. I mean, the sad thing is, as you look at like GE's earnings and all these like industrial, like the Dow versus the NASDAQ, how much is the outperformance differential between the Dow and the NASDAQ over the last year to date?
I think it's like 30%. Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. I think it's like 30%.
It's got to be huge, right? Like the difference between the NASDAQ and the Dow as far as like
performance wise.
Yeah, just year to date.
Yeah, it's absurd.
I mean, it just shows you, because the NASDAQ also has biotech,
Yeah.
and so it's like when you look at an index like the NASDAQ, people go like, how do you beat the S&P? And I'm like, easy, it's called the NASDAQ. It's like the NASDAQ's actually always beaten the S&P.
So the NASDAQ is up 18% year to date. Dow down 7% year to date. Not
so
including
25% differential if you own the industrial physical economy versus the digital economy. And that's, I think, what's so incredible about what we're seeing with coronavirus. And I think the Shopify CEO said it, that we're getting 10 years of forced innovation all in a year. And, it's exactly what's happening with our business too, where because we're digital, we've been able to adapt and continue going and much better than I thought just a few months ago. And if you're, I think, a traditional financial services firm that isn't online, I don't know what you're doing. It's like, how do you survive? So Amazon's also showing that Bezos's foresight in the way he built the company, especially around groceries too, all kind of came together in the pandemic. I mean,
to compete.
I mean, I'm looking at Amazon at $3,100 a share, and
I mean, I was joking before the four companies that are reporting today make up a collective market cap of almost $5 trillion.
Yeah, $5 trillion.
If you take the performance of those 5 companies just out of the S&P, it just significantly hurts it. It's almost down on the year.
But same if you took Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan out of the Bulls.
All right, fair.
Like Rodman would be not that good, right?
Somebody watched The Last Dance recently.
I still think about The Last Dance because I thought it was so good, and now Netflix is trying to get you to watch it again because they got the short end of the stick with ESPN on that deal. But I thought it was like a must watch. What else do we see?
Amazon actually, came out with their guidance too and said it's going to be basically the same as this, just enormous, anywhere from 89 billion to up there.
Yeah, I mean, these are good numbers. So we've got now what? Amazon out. We had EA,
Facebook.
Is there anything about Facebook we want to talk about? I mean, can you look into this? How does Facebook make money when ad rev is down?
I mean, if you're anything like me, I'm going to use an anecdotal thing here. I don't use Facebook at all. And honestly, when I'm sitting at home, I'm scrolling through Facebook all night long because I don't have anything else to do.
Oh, so you are using Facebook?
I mean, just because I'm sitting at home bored.
It's weird. I keep looking to my left because I hear you on my left, but the camera's.
Yeah. But I'm using it significantly more in this pandemic because just out of sheer what am I going to be doing? Normally,
I can't use Facebook because it horrifies me.
I agree.
I literally scroll. If I go into Facebook, it's like 3 thumb twists till I read something I don't want to read. It's like people post horrifying stuff.
Parents arguing about
parents.
Yeah, just parents arguing.
What Facebook are you on?
It's my friends and my friends' parents and just everyone. They're arguing about Trump or politics.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
I'd rather get an enema than.
Well, see, what I do is I mute all those people. So ultimately, what I've ended up with is 4-day-old stories that.
It's interesting. They actually said their guidance is going to be for daily active users and monthly active users to be flat or slightly down in the next quarter.
Who? Facebook? Well, because they're assuming eventually you'll get a life.
Correct.
I mean that's what I would guide. There's definitely more people on the freeways, and it feels like traffic is now slowly picking up a little bit. So I think the economy that's working is doing really well. It's just the part that's shut That's a huge
So
problem.
their user growth was up about 12% year over year.
At Facebook.
Yeah, but I mean, I would expect it to be a little bit more. I mean, I guess it's
How
pretty
many people are there in
saturated,
the world?
but-
They have everybody already.
Have everybody.
Yeah, still.
Dude, there's like people in the farthest
losing
reaches
the
of
youngins.
Antarctica. I'm sure there's a guy on Antarctica on
Remember
Facebook.
when I was trying
You
to
know
put
what I mean?
satellites in Africa so they could just get more users because
Yeah, exactly. Facebook's like going to go house to house, you know?
they put up balloons like satellite.
Yeah. No, seriously, they were like really, really thinking about Antarctica as a market.
Yeah.
So I've still got Amazon up 122. I've got EA even.
Brett, do you have any AWS numbers on Amazon?
I'm trying to look for it.
Yeah, I tried to look for it too. That for some reason they didn't.
Amazon's giving a one-time thank you bonus totaling over $500 million to all frontline employees.
That's great considering they probably just made $1 billion after hours.
Right. I'm like, yeah, like, thanks. You know, like Bezos is saying
They spent
17
over
billion.
$4 billion on just incremental COVID-related costs.
Yeah, that's. Listen, I mean, honestly, like, could we have survived this pandemic if Amazon didn't exist? I mean, talk about an essential business. Like,
Well, Amazon and Netflix, I think, saved
I mean,
our country.
Netflix, right, is entertainment, right? But with
Dude,
Amazon,
you don't think everybody would have gone out with guns and killed each other if it weren't for Netflix?
that's true. But Netflix actually delivered stuff. I mean, Amazon delivered us stuff that we actually needed to.
Yeah, a bunch of toilet paper.
We had to wait in line. Remember the first weeks and months?
I'm still using that cheap pandemic toilet paper that I got.
Yeah, exactly.
But my wife had this like Charmin, like the old like Charmin 7-ply that we used to have, and like I actually went into her bathroom to go the other day, and I was like, how does she have the good stuff?
She's hoarding it.
You're totally. So I just rated it all. You know, I was like, I'm done with this pandemic stuff. Google up 28. They haven't reported.
They haven't reported. This is just
I think they have the biggest chance of missing.
Facebook adjacent. But see, here's like to me, Google is the most interesting. I think it's because it's a wild card because obviously, probably ad rev is going to be down, but
it's got to be down.
How much is YouTube raking it in here though?
Right, exactly. Well, I think YouTube is like a 16 or 20 billion a year rev business.
Yeah.
And so I see them probably going up by 50% with this stuff,
There's an interesting topic of like, what if YouTube or Amazon gets broken up essentially, and like you could just buy YouTube.
Well, YouTube as a standalone business, I would say would be worth at least 100 billion. At least.
Like if you could strip that out, would you want to invest just in YouTube?
Oh, in a second. In fact, I would do that and get rid of the Google part because I think the search business and the display business is kind of old and tired. And I don't think it works as well. That's why we're not spending as money on Google. And so Google's now, that's what I was saying about, I think they get into video games now so they can place ads in game. This is going to be a huge, huge thing moving forward. We know the eyeballs are in the video games. We know the kids are watching it. And when you get killed, you got to wait in the lobby and there's a lot of loading time. What you do? And it's like
Gulag.
No, you go to the gulag. Like you could have ads in the gulag, No, that's what happens in Call of Duty. You get like another chance to go in if you kill like one-on-one, which is clever. But why there's not more in-game ads? So I think Google might acquire a game maker just so they can place ads in all their games. And it will add a whole new source of revenue for them. But a big deal just happened. My friends was involved with this company bought Coco Melon and Blippi. There's a big move in the YouTube Kids area that the deal just went down. And this is amazing. I think the company is called Moonbeam and is now the largest provider of children entertainment on YouTube. And I think they have 235 million subscribers now.
I got numbers.
Oh, what do you got?
We got a non-gap for some reason on Google. 1013 versus 821, so a huge beat there. But actually, the headline number here says revenue drops 2% from last year.
That's probably good.
Yeah,
that $28 billion buyback.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I mean, they beat on revenue also.
I think they should pay a dividend.
Like honestly, like it's ridiculous. Like Google has this war chest of money,
100 billion plus.
Not pay a dividend and not deploy that money is really unreal.
$8 billion in revenue.
It's not going down after hours. I still see it up 13.
Yeah. And going back to your Dow thing, like how hilarious is it that Google and Amazon, because the Dow is price weighted, they can't be in there? Like how hilarious is it that two of the most important companies on earth?
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think we should. The Dow reminds me
of the 1800s.
Time, right? It's kind of like. It's like what, like some of you might have like a grandfather that's like 99, and it's like he doesn't do much anymore. But it's like, oh, you're pointing at me? That's fine.
Lost the grandfather
because payroll's tomorrow. It's really, really good timing, Brett. No, but like if you have a 99-year-old grandfather, you're kind of like he's there, I was like, hey, how's he doing?
Yeah. But man, I mean, it's still that's all I got is those headline numbers.
Well, Google's not going down, so
YouTube ad revenue is $3.81 billion, but I don't see the comp of what it was before. Do you know?
No, I can't see it. It doesn't.
That number doesn't sound crazy to me. I got Amazon up 173 now, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and moving. Bezos going to go on the conference call and just be like, "Yo, yo," it's like.
Isn't it apropos after all four of these CEOs said in front of Congress yesterday? Like, here you go.
What I think is the next headline is Amazon, Apple, Apple, Facebook, and Google acquire the U.S.
U.S. government.
Just acquire it.
That's it. They're just going to buy the S&P.
Yeah, there's $5 trillion. Yeah. That's exactly how much money the country's probably worth half that. Why not? Why not? Amazon 186, Google up 32.
Jesus, this is crazy. Honestly, we talked about it, Ross. Right?
Best recession I've ever been in.
I mean,
it's going to light a fire under all the other tech companies that are yet to report earnings.
Yeah.
Okay, investors. Let me explain to you what's going on here, investors. And you can take this however you want. But if you're in the physical economy right now, you're losing. And if you're in the digital economy right now, you're winning. Okay? There isn't much to debate here. So it's time you call Gerber Kawasaki and get your portfolio positioned correctly. Now, I can't talk about our returns because of the way the laws work, but let's just say they're good. And so, you don't, but past performance is not indicative of future results. So I can't say that they will continue to be. But what I can tell you is that the digital economy is booming, and these numbers just verify it. 88 billion in a quarter is insane numbers. Now I got Amazon up 200.
This is unreal. Like,
it's going to be interesting next quarter too, because now all the digital economy stocks are going to have to beat incredibly hard comps, right? And then you have all the physical economy stocks that are going to have terrible comps that they're just going to destroy.
So, that's how the market works.
Huge mixed bag.
Well, the question I think is now people are getting back to normal. Maybe more are dying, maybe more are sick, but in general, there's a much more normal life going on. And every day it seems to get more normal. But what will be interesting is, will our behaviors change a lot? Like, Amazon's so convenient, I can't imagine all of a sudden, like, you know what, this mall seems like a great idea now, let's go. Like, I can't imagine Netflix and EA and Activision, for example, having that much less mind share, because what I think is that the big fun things are going to be the hardest things to get back. The Coachellas, the movie theaters, those are going to be the hardest things to bring back, the big sports. And so what I think it does is it still continues to benefit these digital entertainment players and these other types of digital plays, because even though the physical economy will come back to some degree, it will not be what it was. And that's basically what my premise is.
And that's what happens, right? This is what the pandemic has shown us, Ross, is like, first of all, this is stuff we already said well before the pandemic happened. The economy is changing. People are struggling to catch up with it. But now you're talking about, hey, like the COVID pandemic did not create this environment. It simply just put the final nail in the coffin of the old school business.
Right, exactly. Like sometimes it is kind of like the dinosaurs. Like they had kind of like they'd lived their day, It's like the dinosaurs' day was over. So the meteor just came and did something that needed to be done, or else we probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. So I think, as much as it's a sort of a painful transition that's going to go on for the next year, as many companies go out of business or restructure, and many employees will be affected by this. I think what will come out the other side, boy, will be an even more efficient economy and digitally based than we would have had if it took another 5 or 10 years. So I do believe we front-loaded innovation here.
right? The Shopify CEO yesterday. For those of you
Yeah, we talked about that.
who don't look about earnings, right? It's amazing. 100%. He basically said 10 years in a quarter, right? Front loaded 10 years worth of growth.
Well, and Shopify's numbers are a perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean, Shopify had earnings up 100%.
Yeah.
They have revenue up
Revenue
like
up 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but like, you know, when you use Shopify and you use their tools, you realize why they're so good. But, you know, when you look at Amazon, I think they said was like 30% of e-commerce, and Shopify is only 6%.
Yeah.
So what's their potential growth? You know, and hence you get 1,000 PE on Shopify.
Yeah.
So what are we waiting for now? So we're waiting for Apple, right?
We're waiting for Apple. Usually around 1:30, Apple.
Yeah, it's going to come now.
Got any second?
We're waiting on that.
Tim likes
What
his
about
own show.
This next quarter too for the video games like EA and Activision too. You have these new consoles coming.
New console.
Yeah. What's the deal with the consoles? I thought it was a console. I thought it was just PS5.
So PlayStation and Xbox.
There is an Xbox.
Yeah,
I thought the Xbox really was just not that.
it's not that exciting,
Right?
But they're saying the PlayStation's more exciting. But now they just released Halo when Microsoft came out with their demo.
I mean,
which
are you
looked
playing
amazing.
Halo?
I love Halo.
Really?
It's one of my favorite games.
I mean, it was
I'm
in 1998 when I played it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's actually the only game I ever finished.
That's what I told Brett when he told me that he's playing Halo. I was like, I can't believe that's still a game. But then again, I can't believe Call of Duty.
Yeah, but Brett's kind of like an old guy in a young guy's
It
body.
goes back to all this like intellectual property that these companies have. That they just continue to build titles and titles and titles on top of each other.
Yeah.
Seemingly
Well, they're
profitable.
franchises. They're just like movies.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon or anything else.
Pokemon. You know, I made money on Pokemon back in the day. It was a company called For Kids Entertainment. And Pokemon came out. I bought the stock. It went through the roof.
Well, it's like Activision and Candy Crush with the King division. Like,
Yeah.
people still spend so much money on Candy Crush.
It blows my mind. And Activision paid the right price for it. But I remember I did this interview. I think I was on CNBC, and I was talking about how, like, who's going to keep playing Candy Crush for how long, because it's such a repetitive game. Boy, I was wrong about that. They are still paying to play Candy Crush.
Yeah.
And it's a huge amount of mind share. You know what I found about video games, because I do play them, and I don't play them as much as I wish I had time to play, to be honest. But I have a family, so they intrude on my video game time. But I think the games are better than they've ever been. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and you're talking to people, and you're hanging out. And you know, the other day it was a bunch of 8-year-olds. I was playing with a bunch of 8-year-olds, and they were so like, I was like, are you even old enough to play Call of Duty? Because my kid isn't allowed to play Call of Duty, and he's 8.
Well, they've done a good job at cleaning up all of the voice chat and like the communication between players, because it used to be horrendous. Like,
no, I haven't had a bad experience
ever.
No,
and now you just get kicked off. They'll kick you right off.
Right, and I haven't seen any anti-Semitism or racism online either. And that's something I think that isn't talked about a lot in the video game business, is how good of a different how good of an effort they put into moderating the communities, and how you can report anybody. Like, I've been on, and I saw this guy once, and he killed me, and then he had like some swastika on his like emblem, and I was like, how did he even get this? And you report this stuff, and they take these people down.
Quick,
you know.
And let's not forget, now that we're talking about games.
Here we go.
Apple's up $3.98 print.
Apple's up $13 after hours. All right, what they do? Let's get this thing.
America's revenue $27 billion. So they did sales of $59.7 billion.
Versus what?
It's not giving me a versus on this.
Well, you got to get a better website. What do you want?
I want Thinkorswim by
Come on,
Ameritrade.
dude.
So.
Come on, Ameritrade. Give us some.
It's not much better either.
I got 2 guys here who's supposed to give me numbers. I can't read anymore because I'm so old.
But that being said, you know, while we
growth in products
up
and
17,
services.
402 on Apple. Woo!
that's amazing.
I think this was like a booming economy.
Yeah, this is unreal. Like, it really is a tale of 2 cities here.
I wonder when they wrote
Apple
A Tale of Two
reports
Cities.
a 4-to-1 stock split effective August.
Apple's
24th.
got a stock split. Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything, but it makes
Thank you, Tim, for leading by example.
EPS beat 258 versus 204 estimate. Sales were 59.7 billion versus 52.25 billion.
they blew it out.
Oh,
yeah, they beat the estimate by $7 billion.
That's why I bought this phone. I bought it.
Yeah,
Same right here.
All right, so we solved that problem. People are buying hardware.
International sales accounted for 60% of the third quarter revenue.
Wow.
So it's picking up internationally.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
It's insane.
Yeah, we're going to have to break down these numbers in more detail, and we're not going to do that live because you don't want to see me when I go home now this afternoon, reading all afternoon, which is actually what I do. And I'm going to do it outside, and maybe I might stroll to the beach, but I will be reading earnings reports all afternoon. It's amazing all these companies report in one day.
11.25 billion profit. iPhone sales were up 1.7% year over year to 26 billion.
I can't believe the sales are up.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And everyone knows they committed to be carbon neutral by 2030.
That's great.
That's
buy some solar panels from Tesla.
Yeah,
oh, Tim, you could have bought Tesla, but you missed your chance, Tim.
Did they talk about services revenue? Because I'm looking and I can't find it.
I'm just seeing sales right now.
Yeah,
Tim's
going to be doing laps on his conference call.
I mean,
we're going to have a good day tomorrow if this stuff holds.
Ford approved it already. Everything. Wow.
We got a stock split. So Elon, split your stock.
What do we think? Is Elon going to?
I sent them a letter about why it's so smart to split stock and how it helps investors and how you get young investors involved with your stock and you get a wider distribution of your stock among more people. So, there are a lot of advantages to splitting your stock, and I just don't understand the mentality of many of these corporate people. Where now you got to sell like stock slices on Schwab,
Max sales were up 22% year over year.
Wow.
That's the area I thought that they would do well in because everybody had to buy computers.
Yeah, but they're expensive. So what this proves though is that as the pandemic took hold, many people realized that they needed to upgrade hardware, and they did. And so I think the reality is, even though technically we're in a recession, because of the government stimulus and the flooding of money into the economy, like it did prevent the actual recession from starting. So between the actions of the Fed and the fiscal stimulus, it seems like what it did was like kick the can down the line. Mm-hmm. So I think what I'm more worried about is the next 6 months, where right now we have no more stimulus coming, and who knows when next stimulus package will be approved, but I kind of think it's crucial to keeping the economy strong. So, now we're going to see spending get hit because of a cutback. And so the question is that going to hurt Apple in the next quarters?
Well, it's interesting because I was looking at the geographical breakdown, and like America's sales beat by almost the most. So it's 27 billion versus 25. And then Europe was actually great. And then China was actually pretty much flat, which I would have expected them to actually.
Well, they were hurt worse. They should have been down.
Yeah. So, Europe was like 14.7 billion versus 11, and China was only 9.32 versus 9.15.
Right. You ready for a fun number? Apple now has 194 billion in cash.
Well, that's good because the U.S. government needs it. I am proposing that the
United States of Apple
companies acquire the country and remove Donald Trump. That's what. Actually, we should just remove all of them. We'll just rename America Fang.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest. Apple's like one of the biggest bond hedge funds.
Right. We could have like a committee. It would be like Tim Cook and Zuckerberg and Sundar and Jeff Bezos.
I'm pretty sure they do a much better job.
Really? A much better job than hell? Yeah, of course.
Services was up only at 14.8%. We were expecting that to be
most of the services suck.
Interesting but we thought the hardware would be more challenged and services.
I have to say, my thought process around this is different than what has happened. Being a bear, I saw this a little bit in my experiences where I was kind of amazed to see how many people were out and shopping and doing things. But what I really think there is actually a lot of money that people used to spend traveling and going to concerts and things like that is now sitting in our bank accounts, and they're spending it on hardware. They're spending it on the digital economy. And I'm kind of doing the same thing, I guess.
I get Amazon packages at our place every single day.
Like, I feel bad if we don't get one. Like my kids,
every day.
We built like this box fort the other day because we ordered all this crap. I've been trying to just help businesses by ordering crap, but
And let's not forget, obviously, obviously we know Amazon Web Services, right? Everybody going digital only helps that business. Let's not forget about the ad business, right? So, they are taking share from Facebook and Google.
Well, yeah, I would argue that's only an upside for Amazon, right?
Yeah,
but now I see Google down $16 after hours. So now the weight of Google's not as exciting earnings as Apple is hurt them.
Yeah, we said they had
Did
the
we
most.
get anything from MGM?
I got nothing from MGM. I just checked.
Okay.
But
But
we
they did make William Hornbuckle permanent CEO. I love it.
Oh, I got
He's done a
MGM.
great job.
Ooh.
No, MGM's definitely
So
losing money.
MGM is down slightly. Their revenue falls 91%.
Yeah, that
was gonna
sounds
be a
about
large
right.
number.
1%.
Lost $1 billion on $290 million in revenue. So again, ugly number. But
Yeah,
we
they're
knew that
supposed
they
to be
were
real bad.
closed most of this last
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah.
So they had a loss of $152 per share.
So it kind of gave up so far what it gained today.
Yeah, it's down slightly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's unexpected. I mean, they were closed the whole quarter. And MGM's our only physical economy play, our recovery play, and especially because it has a lot of cash on the books and it trades at a very big discount to its actual intrinsic value. But that is the only one we're playing in here. I like it at $15, $16.
Macau's still limited by the pandemic.
Yeah.
They've been but I mean, Vegas, like from the people that I've talked that have gone there, is booming.
Yeah.
Just booming.
Yeah. So
Like, they do not care.
I think once they get into the conference call, actually the casinos are doing well relative to what's happening, although cases are going up in Nevada, unfortunately. Apple, I still have up $20.
Yeah.
I've got EA up 40 cents. I've got Amazon up 148. I've got MGM now up just a little bit and Google down a little bit. Now, I want to preface that I don't believe in after hours trading. I don't believe any of these quotes because the truth is I'm not going to trade after hours. And I trade in size. So if you trade in any size, you can't even trade after hours. You can move the market very quickly after hours. And so what you do is you have a very thin market with people who some reason can't make decisions during the daytime.
Spreads are wide.
And so I don't really take to heart anything that happens after hours. What I really care about is what happens in the first 30 minutes of trading for these stocks tomorrow. That's really going to assess where they're at.
Not to mention that, with the worst earnings quarter in history, what is said on the call is ultimately possibly more important than what is actually said in the numbers. What are the projections? What is guidance? What are the CEOs saying about these companies? Obviously these tech companies have great numbers.
We haven't done the calls yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's, they could say anything.
Well, Tim's going to try to talk it down. Tim.
They always do. I mean, we've all been on.
We had a great quarter, but we don't know. Tim and Tim. Hey, do you have any questions coming in?
I have a couple questions. So somebody did ask, do you still recommend MGM as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think if you want a stock that has a lot of potential, and I was debating somebody about this online the other day. This is a 2-year investment. Yeah. You don't buy MGM. We don't day trade here. Day trading is for suckers. Okay, you don't make money day trading. You make money investing. Okay, investing is how you make money. Day trading is how you help Ken Griffin pay his bills for his $240 million penthouse in New York. Okay, all these trades make other people rich, not you. Okay, so don't be confused. But if you're going to make an investment in a company like MGM, of course, there's risk involved, but you have a lot of potential upside as well. We think the stock's worth 28. It's trading at 16. If you can wait 2 years, that's let's say 75 or 80% return. If you analyze that, it's 30, 35% annualized. Nobody's going to argue about that.
Pretty good.
Obviously, didn't come out with earnings today, but someone was asking about Disney since it is a physical company. But then
Disney is I cry about Disney every day.
Me too.
I love Disney. I'm a Disney lover, and I have married Disney stock, despite Muddy Waters research saying that you shouldn't marry stocks. They're short sellers. I'm a long guy, so I'm a bear on Disney right now. I'm not selling my Disney, but unfortunately, they are not understanding what they need to do with Disney Plus. Okay, they have to accept that you're not putting movies in a goddamn theater. Okay, the theaters are closed, Bob. Closed. Okay, put Mulan on my Disney Plus. I got nothing to watch. I watch everything on Disney Plus. I'm not watching Moana again. Come on, Bob.
Mandalorian season 2 coming out.
It's in October. It's October. I watch Netflix. I'm watching Outer Banks on
I
Netflix.
mean,
Like,
can't they even come out with some premium edition where you pay $10?
Just release the movies like Netflix. Isn't Netflix proven that it doesn't matter if you spend $200 million on a movie if people watch it? Okay.
Well, Disney's got a lot of capital-intensive businesses that they have to keep.
Listen,
Right.
theme parks, they can't make money this way. The cruise ships, they're closed. The hotels they have closed. Theaters closed.
Yeah.
So I've got Disney Plus,
Yep.
and Netflix is worth more than Disney. More than Disney. Okay. You would think they would put everything on Disney Plus. Go all in, Bob. Go all in. Okay.
Yeah,
it's enough. Enough.
And honestly, I think it should command a higher multiple if Disney Plus does continue to take off like Netflix has. Just
It won't matter the rest of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember ESPN.
Think about it. Okay. If Netflix and Spotify are at, let's say, Netflix is almost 200 million. Spotify's at like 140 million paid subscribers. And Disney Plus was at like 55 million.
Yeah, they're going to get to 100 quick.
Yeah, you drop Mulan, you're at 100. Boom. They dropped Hamilton. They had millions of people sign up. Millions. So you drop Mulan, and that's that, So, I think we're going to end pretty soon because I'm starting to get upset at Bob Iger. I'm going to have to go find Bob on his bike ride and hassle him again. This is how I get stuff done at Disney is I have to track Bob Iger down early in the morning on Sundays when he's riding his bike through Brent. That's what I do. That's a secret.
That note, Apple TV Plus, we know has not been a huge hit, but one of these days I'm going to get my dream wish from Apple, which is the all-in bundle.
Well, if you want to watch Tom Hanks yell "Rightful Rudder" all afternoon, they've got that movie, "Rightful Rudder." Rightful Rudder. Oh my God, the sub's coming. Rightful Rudder. It's a whole movie.
I want the Apple TV, the Apple Music, I want the everything bundle. Just let me pay one fee and give me everything.
You know what? I think that's too smart for Apple. The Apple bundle. Just give me news, give me games.
They don't need any more cash, bro.
I'll give Apple credit. I'll give Apple credit for Apple Pay. Apple Pay and the Apple Card is amazing. And I think Ayel admitted he does not have the Apple Card. And I was embarrassed for him the other day.
I do have the Amazon card if that makes you feel.
Come on, get an Apple Card. They give you like a piece of gold. They send it to you. It's unbelievable. That's how much money Apple has. I like Apple Pay, and I think it does well. Any questions? So we got 2 minutes.
Bitcoin.
I'm tired of Bitcoin.
MGM growth.
Same as MGM. We like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
How much is Disney benefiting from NBA?
Someone goes, our feed is glitchy. This is Wi-Fi not work in Silicon Valley.
We're not in Silicon Valley, and we just upgraded the internet. We just upgraded. There can't be too many people on the line in our building.
What about Disney benefiting from the NBA being like pretty much the only sport that might happen?
No, this is great for Disney to have it.
But still
at ESPN, but it's also a risk. I mean, we're assuming that the season happens, nobody gets sick, and we have a real playoff. So I think basketball is the only sport that will end up having a real season that isn't interrupted some way or another. But I still think it's high risk that NBA has problems. And so I think it's too early to say that's a huge win. But there's no question for ESPN and sports. And tonight is the Laker game. Advertising in the Laker game tonight.
Oh, yeah. Let us know if you see our TV.
Yeah, if you're in the LA area, we have a new ad campaign. I'm going to post it on Twitter maybe this afternoon.
And make sure you root for the Lakers too. That's.
I mean, the story's clear here, right? This is all about big tech earnings, the digital economy. These stocks have just reported insane numbers. And if you guys want to get invested in companies like this, like our clients are, give us a call. Send us an email, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Because you need to be invested in these types of companies because they're the driving force of the economy in this new world.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. And especially younger people. Like I was talking about this on a podcast yesterday about, investing for the long term when you're young. When you think about compounding, you think about the companies like in technology that are making a difference today and what we're going through today. And then you think about where we'll be in 5 or 10 years or longer. I mean, there's just great opportunities to be an investor for the long term, no matter what the situation is. And that's what we do here at Gerber Kawasaki. And that's why, guys like Brett and Ayel, I'm the CEO of the company, so it's really hard for me to see new clients. I just don't have time. But we have, I think now 24 advisors at the firm who
Yeah.
are building their businesses, who invest. We all invest the same way under the same type of
And they're all
management
diverse
that we
too,
do.
right? Like if
Um,
you have specific interests, or if you're from a specific demographic, like we have an advisor that like specializes in helping you and that you can connect with.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
insane.
And speaking of which, we also have practice groups. Yesterday we had a great webinar. We had some great a great gamer on. We were talking
She
about
was
gaming.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like female gaming.
Yeah,
And,
GTA.
yeah, it was really good. And just the sort of female perspective of the gaming industry. And then right after this, we're doing on YouTube a live stream for the LGBT community in investing. We've got some great advisors giving financial advice for the LGBTQ
And then,
community.
yeah.
So
And next week,
and after this, it'll be on at 2:00 on YouTube at Gerber Kawasaki. And I highly recommend follow us on Twitter. Follow the individual advisors on Twitter as well. They type their own stuff in. And just follow us on YouTube. Subscribe and like. Yeah.
Tuesday next week, also the tech group is hosting another Future of Work in the pandemic. So tune in for that as well.
Yeah, we'll send out the next week's stuff on Monday. But we're putting out a lot of content for all of you. We've become a network here. We're doing this anyways. We have a studio here in the office, and so we have shows on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter on a weekly basis. So if you want to learn about investing, if you want to build your wealth, if you're stuck at home, if you're trying to figure out your future, if you have financial problems or issues, and you have questions, you're not sure whether it's the right time to buy a house or whatever, that's what we do at Gerber Kawasaki. We have no minimums here. We work with all types of people. We're considered one of the most diverse companies in the industry. We've recently received several awards for this. We're also one of the youngest firms in the industry. Our average age of our advisors is in the 30s. So if you're a young person, that's great. And if you're older, that's great too, because we have ancient guys like me. I'm so ancient now. So we're here to help. Tune in. Thank you so much for being a fan of Gerber Kawasaki and a client, hopefully, too. And good luck through these very challenging times. The next 6 months will be very difficult in the market. So I highly recommend getting financial advice now while markets are strong. Good job to the tech companies, and we'll see you next time. And, we'll be doing this obviously more often because there's nothing else to do. So have a great day. And try to find something positive in your day, because it's real hard.
Here's
and
something
it's
positive.
worth it.
They said you look like you're 31.
I know. I joke about being old. I'm not that old, actually. I just do that because it actually makes me feel better.
Yeah.
But thank you, whoever that was. I'll send you your money after the show's
Don't suck up. Come on.
All right.
Thank you
very
guys.
much. Signing
Cheers.
off.
Guys, thanks.